Okay, welcome to the machine learning class. In this video, I'm going to explain about the logistic regression algorithm for classification. We compare the linear regression versus logistic regression first. The linear regression model is a linear model used to predict continuous or null outputs. So the range of the output will be minus infinity into infinity based on some input features. In classification problem, the output is discrete class label or more generally posterior probabilities that lie in the range 0 to 1. So logistic regression, we use it for classification. If you compare with the linear regression is for solving the regression problem, which the output is the continuous number. But the logistic regression, the output will be the discrete values. Since the output of linear regression model can be either greater than 1 or less than 0, linear regression is not suitable for classification problem. And logistic regression model is basically a model used to predict binary outputs. So the output will be a 0 or 1. We start the logistic regression for solving the binary classification. So the output will be 0 or 1 based on some input features. And logistic regression is used in classification problem. If we see in this slide, we have three different plot here. And binary classification problem, like I was mentioning before, the output will be a 0 or 1. And if we use the linear regression for solving the classification problem, the output line will be like this, which is not suitable. So we will use the logistic regression, so the output will be like this. So this is the line for logistic regression output. So we will discuss it in the following slide. So this is very important, the sigmoid functions. As you can see, if we have the inputs, the A will be the inputs, and we have the sigmoid functions. So the output on the Y, the sigmoid A will be 1 divided by 1 plus E to the power of minus A. So the sigmoid functions will be used in logistic regression to predict the output. Given binary classification problem with the output class Y in the range Y, the output Y, or 0 or 1, and an unknown observation X, X1, X2, and Xn. So X will be in the input features. The posterior probability of class Y equal 1 can be written as sigmoid of linear function of feature X. So as you can see, this is the formula for the posterior probability of class Y. So the posterior probability of class Y, or the probability of Y equal 1 given by X features, equal the sigmoid function of W0, W1x1 until Wn(xn). So the X will be the input features, and the W is the weights that will be multiplied by each X. And we also have a bias W0. And we can simplify the W0 plus W1x1, W2x2 to W transpose X. And we put these values W transpose X into a sigmoid function. Okay, so this is the sigmoid functions. We replace the we replace the A with the W transpose X. Okay, so the W will be W0 to N, which is the W0 is a bias, and the X, we multiply the W with the 1 with which will be the bias, and W1x1, Wn(xn), where W is the parameter of logistic regression. So the function in logistic regression, we will choose the best W, which has the best accuracy. So the W will be updated. So we have outs and logit. Suppose we have the P, equal P, probability of y equal 1 given by X, odds is defined as P divided by 1 minus P. And logit is natural algorithm of odds. So the logit P will be logarithm normal of odds P, and it will be logarithm normal of P divided by 1 minus P. Since the P equal 1 divided by 1 plus E to the power of minus W transpose X, which is this is the sigmoid functions in logistic regression, then logit of posterior probability of class Y equal 1 is linear function of X. As you can see here, the logit P will be a logarithm normal, and we replace all of the P variable with the sigmoid functions. As you can see, this is the formula by replacing the P with the 1 divided by 1 plus E to the power of minus W transpose X. And we can just remove these values, and it will be logarithm normal of E to the power of W transpose X. And as you can see, the logarithm normal is the logarithm with the E as a basic values. If we compare the logarithm normal with the regular logarithmic, so the logarithm normal is the logarithm based on E or Euler numbers. So the output will be W transpose X. And you can remove the E values here. So this is the comparison between the probability, odds, and logit. So the probability, as you can see, the output will be 0 to 1. And we can just choose the and we can choose the decision boundary. If the output is less than 0.5, so the class will be predicted as 0. And if the output greater or equal than 0.5, and it will be predicted as 1. For the odds, we can choose the decision point to 1, because the output will be in the range of 0 to infinity. But in logit, because the output is minus infinity to infinity, so we can choose the decision point as 0. So the decision boundary is a hyperplane that separates the area where y equals 0 and where y equals 1. So like I was mentioning before, this is the values for the decision boundary. And we can translate the posterior probability P, the probability of y equal 1 given by X values to class level. If you choose the sigmoid functions, the sigmoid functions or the probability, so the output, if the output is greater than or equal 0.5, so the output will be y equal 1. So the output is the 1 values. But if the probability and the output probability is less than 0.5, so the output will be 0. And based on the characteristic of odds and logit, then the decision boundary for logistic regression is W transpose X greater than or equal 0, so the output will be 1. So because the logistic regression, the decision boundary is based on a logit function. Yeah. So we use the decision boundary in logistic regression with the logit function. So the output will be like this. Okay. So we have the example we have W, which is the wake. So the wake contain two two values, minus 80 and 2, and the X is 1 and X. It means we have one attribute in our case. And the wake, yeah, this is the bias, and this is the wake W1, and this is the W0. And the decision boundary of Y equal 1, the output is 1 if the minus 80 plus 2x is greater than or equal 0. So we can just simply multiply the 80 with the 1, minus 80 with the 1, and 2 with the 8. And if it is greater or equal greater or equal 0, or x equal x greater than or equal 40, yeah, we can just move these values to the right, then divided it by 2, and it will be x greater than or equal 40. And we have another case here. We have two different variables, and as you can see, we just simply multiply the W with the X, and the decision boundary of Y equal 1 if the 5 minus X1 plus 2X2 greater than or equal 0, or we can just simply move the 5 values to the right, because we have negative values on the left. Then we can just use this equation, X1 minus 2X2 less than or equal 5. And suppose we have Xi, which is the input, and with the n attributes, and we also have I equal 1 to m. So it means we have m training data, and the output will be 1 or 0. The value of parameter W is determined by maximizing the likelihood functions as follows. The probability of Y given by wake equal P I equal 1 to m Pi to the power of Yi 1 minus Pi to the power of 1 minus Yi. So because the logistic regressions will find the optimal weight, yeah, which has the highest probability or highest accuracy. So we will update the W values here. So the value of parameter W is determined by maximizing the likelihood functions. So if we have the likelihood functions, we have the maximum likelihood functions, it means we have the good accuracy. So we will update the W values to get the maximized likelihood functions. And we use this formula for getting the maximized likelihood values. And where y, which is the output, equal y1, y2 until ym, because we have m different training data, so the output will also have the m values. And the Pi, which is the sigmoid functions, the Pi, we use the our previous formula, which is P yi equal 1 given by xi attributes. Maximizing likelihood function is equivalent with maximizing the logarithm of the likelihood functions as follows. Okay, so the LW will be a logarithm normal of P, the probability of Y given by weight values or W values, equal logarithm normal of the P I equal 1 to m Pi Yi multiplied by 1 minus Pi to the power of 1 minus Yi. So we can just simply put the logarithm normal to the left values and also the right values. So we can just explore more in these equations. So the LW will be equal sigma I equal 1 to m Yi logarithm normal of Pi plus 1 minus yi logarithm normal of 1 minus pi. So why this equation will be like this? It is because we have the logarithm properties. If we have the logarithm normal a multiplied by b, it will be logarithm normal a plus logarithm normal b. The logarithm normal properties have the same properties with the regular logarithm. So it means if you remember the logarithm properties, yeah, logarithm normal of a, you can just, yeah, I will give the annotation here. Log a multiplied by b, it will be log a plus log b. Remember, the p function here is similar with the sigma notation, but the differences is if you use the p equation, we multiplied the values after that. So yeah, the p, we call this notation as the p. Okay, the p a b, it means a multiplied by b. Okay, and the p a and b and c, yeah, it will be a multiplied by b multiplied by c. And in this equation, yeah, we have the start values I equal 1 to m. So it means we will multiply every values start from I equal 1 to m, which is the m equal the number of training data. So it will be multiplied the pi to the power of yi multiplied by 1 minus pi to the power of 1 minus yi. It means we will multiply every values until m training data. So for train the logistic regressions, so we want to maximize the LW, which is the maximum likelihood functions. So since we have the logarithm W equal sigma I equal 1 to m yi logarithm normal of pi plus 1 minus yi multiplied by logarithm normal of 1 minus pi, and we change the pi values with the probabilities. The p yi equal 1 given by xi values, and we also change these values into these probabilities, and we use the linear algebra functions for multiplied every values here. 1 multiplied by logarithm normal of this, and yi also multiplied by with the logarithm of this. So yeah, we will have the logarithm normal of 1 minus p yi equal 1 given by xi values, and yi multiplied by this logarithm. And because we have two values here, 1 multiplied by this and yi multiplied by this, so we can just go to the next formula here. So we can just simply put out the yi values to the left, yeah, because this one also multiplied by yi and this one also multiplied by yi. So we can just simply put the yi values to the left, then yeah, we multiplied by the logarithm normal of p this one and logarithm normal of this one plus logarithm normal of this. Then because based on the logarithm properties, if we have logarithm normal of a minus logarithm normal of b, yeah, ln a minus ln b, it will be equal logarithm normal of a divided by b. Yeah, we can just assume that this values is a and this values is b, because based on logarithm properties, logarithm normal of a minus logarithm normal of b, it will be logarithm normal of a divided by b, and it will be multiplied by yi plus this logarithm, right? Yeah, because we have the based on previous formula, we have since logarithm normal of p yi minus 1 given by xi values divided by 1 minus p yi equal 1 given by xi values equal W transpose xi, and also 1 divided by 1 minus p yi given equal 1 given by xi values is this equation. Okay, we can just move to the on the right formula here, on the right values here, and we can just change these values with the W transpose xi, right? And also these values we will change it with these values, right? So because the W transpose xi is the multiplied values between the wake and also the input, and in this case we have n different training data, then we will multiply the wj with the xij, which is the I, yeah, the I, sorry, this one, the n values is not the number of training data. The n values is the number of features, and the m values is the number of training data. And we multiply the wj with the xij. It means we will multiply every week with the features for every training data, right? Same. And we also change the W transpose xi in these values, yeah, with the multiplied values between the wake and also xij. So how to choose the best W or the best wake? We can choose the best wake by finding the wake that has the maximum values if we put the wake into the L functions. Or we can also use the minimum values. We choose the minimum values, but with the minus notation in front of the L functions. So to get the base wake, we can choose the wake that has the maximum values if we put that wake into L functions, or we can choose the base wake by put the wake into L function, but we give the minus notation, then we choose the minimum values from there. Yeah, it is the same equation. Okay, so we cannot choose the weight randomly. So that's why here we use the gradient descent function. And the gradient descent is the iterative optimization algorithm to find the local minimum of differentiable function fx. So we have the f function fx, and x is the multivariate variables x1, x2, and xn, and you can use the first order derivative of gradient f. Okay, so it means to get the minimum output for the fx functions, we can use the gradient descent of f, yeah, based on the x values. The gradient of f at x equal a is defined as the gradient descent of fa, because we have multivariate values, we can choose the partial derivative. The gradient descent, if we want to get the local minimum from the functions based on multivariate functions, based on multivariate variables, we can use the partial derivative for every variable in x. And gradient descent using a fact that fx decreases fastest in the direction of negative gradient f. It means the gradient descent will give the direction into a local minimum. And that's why the gradient descent is the best way to get the local minimum. If we compare, if we choose the randomly x values, yeah, it will be, we will not get the local minimum. That's why gradient descent is the best way. The iteration for gradient descents, it will be x to the power k plus 1. Sorry, this is not to the power x, the next x values equal the current x minus gamma multiplied by gradient descent of f based on x, the current x values. And we also have the gamma values, which is the learning rate. The learning rate will be greater than 0. To estimate the W, we can define the FW equal minus LW. Why we put the minus on the LW? Because the gradient descent is to find the local minimum, but in this case, we want to get the maximum likelihood functions, which is we want to get the maximum values for the FW functions. That's why we can just simply give the minus notations, yeah, to the LW, and as you can see, the next week, yeah, the W in the k plus 1 iteration, yeah, k plus 1 iteration, it will be in the current week plus the gamma multiplied by gradient descent of L. Because based on the gradient descent, we have minus values here, but we change the directions to the local maximums, and that's why we choose we change the minus notation into plus, because minus multiplied by minus, it will be plus. Okay, so this is our previous formula, and we find the gradient descent by using the partial derivative of weight. Because we have more than one weight values, we use the partial derivative of L based on W function, the W values. Okay, so this is the output for the gradient descent. Because we have more than one attribute, which is the W. We have multivariate values, yeah. So we will not discuss it one by one, but actually this is the output of the gradient descent or partial derivative of LW based on weight values, right? As you can see, so at this bottom values, the bottom formula here, WJ k plus 1, which is the next iteration, it will be the current weight plus gamma multiplied by sigma I equal 1 to m yi minus pi multiplied by xij. So the iteration in vector form, because we will implement the gradient descent by using the NumPy variable, so it will be easier for us to show this equation with the vector form. So this is the vector form of the previous formula. So we have the x, which is the features, and also the data set. Sorry, the x is the data set with n features and m observation. And we also have the y, because the y is the output. Because we have m training data, so the y will have also m numbers. And we also have the p, and the probability of the output. Then for the initialization of weight will be randomly generated. Okay, so this is the implementation of logistic regression by using the Python. So in this case, we will manually create a function for logistic regressions. Then after that, we can also use the library from scikit-learn for implementing the logistic regression. But in this case, we start from manually program to create a logistic regression classifier. So we can just generate a binary classification data set. So the first thing that we need to do, we generate the data set. We import the NumPy and also the matplotlib. Then we define the sigmoid functions. As you can see, the sigmoid function will be 1 divided by 1 plus Euler numbers to the power of minus x. So this is the function for the sigmoid. And we generate the random data, and the first thing that we call the seed functions from np.random seed 1, then we randomize the data, the x values. In this case, we only have one x value, one attribute. Yeah, we assume that we only have one attribute, and we multiplied by 100 because the output from the np.random.ran will be the values in the range of 0 to 1, and if we multiplied it by 100, so the output will be start from 0 to 100, and we generate the 40 different values for the x. And for the y, the output, because we already have the x, then we generate the y, which is the output. The output will be the sigmoid of functions. Yeah, we already defined the sigmoid functions. Then we put the 1.4 multiplied by x minus 50, which is the y functions. Yeah, the output. Yeah, the output. And we put the x as the input, and we multiplied it by the 1.4 minus 50 plus 15 multiplied by random values. Yeah, because we have a 40 different x values, then we need also to generate another 40 values, and we multiplied it with the 15. So the 15 multiplied by np random.ran n will be the error rate, because if we don't multiply by 15, then we add it into our previous equation here, so it will have no error functions. Okay, so we flatten the y. Yeah, we convert it into a factorized form. Then we plot the x and y into plot functions. Then we give the labels for the x-axis and also the y-axis. Then we also use the y-tix, which is the y-tix. Yeah, start from 0 to 1, and we have three different y-tix, which is a 0, 0.5, and also 1, because the output will be in the will be 1 or a 0, right? For the classification problem here, this is not the regression problem, which is the output is the continuous number, but in this case we have a discrete values, so the output will be a 0 or 1. Why 0 or 1? Because we have the y values, which is the output from the sigmoid functions. The sigmoid functions will only have a 0 or 0 to 1. Okay, 0 to 1, but in this case, because we adding some values here, so the output will be 0, 0 or 1. Okay, so this one is for training the logistic regression using gradient descent. We import the trend test split and also the accuracy score from the scikit-learn, and we call the concatenate functions np.1 x.shape 0, 1. So it means every x values we concatenate with the 1 value. So it means because we have the bias, which is the weight 0 or w0, and that's why here we concatenate with the 1 values. Because after that we will multiply the x with the y. X is equal 1, so it means we concatenate based on the columns, and we split our data set into training set and also the testing set by using the trend test split functions, and we put the 0.4, 40% for the testing set and also 60% for the training set, and we put the random state equal 1, and we define the epoch equal 1000, so it means it will update the weight 1000 times. Okay, and we define the learning rate, which is the gamma equal 0.02, and also we randomize the initial values for the weight by using the np.random.seed, and we will randomize the wake, which has the same shape with the x, yeah, with the x values. Okay, then we do the iteration here for k in range epoch, is we will update the wake 1000 times, and we calculate the probability by using the sigmoid function. Then after that, we use our previous formula for updating the wake. This is the implementation of the code that implement the updating wake formula. The current wake, and the next wake will be the current wake plus the gamma, which is the learning rate multiplied by the LW, right? So this is the gradient descent formula for the LW. Yeah, NP dot x train t with the y train recept minus 1,1 minus p. Okay, so we can just go to our previous formula here. So this is actually the implementation from this updating wakes formula. Okay, we multiplied the yi with the xij minus pi. So this is the implementation for updating wakes formula. Then we have the p-pred, which is the values output from the sigmoid function, because the sigmoid function, the output will be in the range of 0 to 1. Then we define the decision boundary if the p-pred greater than or equal 0.5, it will be 1, and if the p-pred is less than 0.5, it will be 0. Then after that, we calculate the accuracy score by comparing the y-test and also y-pred, and we print the accuracy from them. So if you implement or execute this code, then you get a different accuracy score, and that's okay, because I think the random.sit function here get the updates from the scikit-learn or the numpy variables. So when I execute this code in this time, maybe, so the next time you generate or execute this code, there is a probability that you can get a different accuracy score. Okay, so we can also use the logistic regression from the scikit-learn library. This is more simple than our previous code. Yeah, this is similar. We use the trend test split, and we import the logistic regression from the scikit-learn linear model library. Then we import the accuracy score for calculating the accuracy. Then we split the data set like our previous code. Then we call the logistic regression functions. Then we call the fit function, which is the function for train our logistic regression model. And it gets two different parameters, which is the x train and also the y train. Then the y-pred will be the output, the predicted output from the logistic regression model. Then we calculate the accuracy score. By using the logistic regression of library from the scikit-learn, it is also possible to get the wake, the wake 0 and also the wake 1, which is the wake that will be multiplied by the x. This is the bias, and also this is the wake 1, and we get the accuracy score of 93.75%. And we also get the decision boundary, which is we will be able to draw the logistic regression decision boundary by using the wake 0 and also the wake 1. So if the decision boundary, if the x multiplied to 0.17 plus minus 6.68 greater than or equal to 0, then it will be 1. The output will be predicted as 1. And so actually this is the probabilities. Yeah, we can also use the log R to predict proba X test. So it means we have two different values here. This is so the shape of the Y prop, yeah, will be 40 and 2 because we have 40 different training data. Then every training data will be predicted by using the logistic regression, and the output will have two different values, which is the probability that the output is 0 and the output is 1. In the left hand side, this is the probability the output equal 0, and on the right hand side here is the probability that the output equal 1. If you add these two values, it will be 1. Okay, so the thing that we already discussed previously, all of that is for binary classifications. But this is a different case. We also be able to use the logistic regression for classifying a multi-class. And the first method, we can use the one versus rest or OVR. Given k-class classification problem with the output class y, yeah, 0, 1, or k-1, so the output is not only 0 or 1, but 0, it can be able to it can be 0, 1, or k-1. And we also have the unknown observation of x. The number of features is n. And we can divide the k-class classification problem into k-binary classifications problems with one versus rest or OVR strategy. In each binary classification problem, set class y equal k, as class y equal 1, and the rest as class is y equal 0. So it means, so if we want to classify or predict a multi-class classifications, in this case, yeah, if we want to predict that y equal k, then the rest or the other class will be 1 equal 0. And that's why we call it as a 1 versus rest. The posterior probability of class y equal k for the k equal 0, 1 until k can be written as sigmoid of linear function of feature x. Yeah, this is similar with binary classification. So the differences is just because we have multi-class labels or multi-label, yeah, multi-labels. So if we want to predict one labels and the other labels will be predicted as y equal 0. And the current labels will be y equal 1. And the predicted class will be, we find the highest probability for every class. Then we will predict the class that has the highest probability. So the other method, we can also use the multi-class classification problem using multinomial. So the multinomial here, we will change the activation function, which is the sigmoid function, with the softmax functions. So yeah, so we change the probability of y equal k given by x equal the exp. So the exp is the Euler number. The exp functions is equal the Euler number minus w k transpose x divided by sigma j equal 0 to k minus 1 multiplied by the exp w j transpose x. So if we change the sigmoid function into a softmax function, so the output will be equal with the OVR. So it means the output will have a more than one values, the probability of every class that will be predicted by using the logistic regression. For example, we have 4 different classes, then the output will be also 4 different values. So the values represent the probability of every class. So this is the implementation of logistic regression using scikit-learn. If we have multi-class classification problem, we can use the previous dataset, which is the ARIS dataset. because the ARIS dataset has 4 different labels. The Setosa virginica versicolor. Then yeah, we have a different 4 different classes. Then we more split the dataset into training set and also testing set. Then we call the logistic regression function, but in this case, we put multi-class argument equal OVR. So in this case, we use the OVR as the method for multi-class classification problem. Then we get the accuracy of 95%. And we can also use a multinomial function. We can just simply change the multi-class argument with the multinomial. And then in this case, we get a higher accuracy, which is 96.67 of accuracy. Okay, so I think that's all for the video. My explanation about the logistic regression. If you have some questions, we can discuss it in our Google Chat group. And for the midterm exam or UTS, you can open your PPT and also you can open your Google Colab and also your OneNote, but you are not allowed to use the Google for searching the information. Okay, so the midterm exam will be held on 16 October, which is next Monday. Then you can prepare yourself for the midterm exam. And before that, before the midterm exam, if you have some questions related to material course, start from week 1 to week 7, we can discuss it on Google Chat group. And also in this week, you have the homework. Yeah, so this is the assignment. You need to train the naive Bayes and logistic regression model to classify the breast cancer dataset that is provided by scikit-learn library. And the dataset contains 30 different features with 2 possible output, benign or malignant. So this is the binary classification problem. And you need to perform the data pre-processing to the dataset before you train the model such that the best model is obtained. And you can use some or all features to train the model such that the best model is obtained. And you need to train the model using 60% of training data and 40% for testing data. Then you need to evaluate the model using the accuracy score. So this code is for loading the breast cancer dataset. Okay, so you can just simply copy this code into your notebooks, then it will give you the dataset. Okay, I think that's all for our explanation. Thank you for watching this video. We will meet after the midterm exam. Okay, thank you.